Tired of dropping your phone or struggling to prop it up? Meet the PopSockets phone grip with expanding kickstand in black, your new must-have accessory. Don't miss out. Grab yours today. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
At the height of his fame, Sean Combs was the undisputed king of hip-hop, with a reputation for throwing extravagant parties that would make everyone who attended feel like royalty. But behind the glamour and glitz, a dark secret lurked, one that would eventually lead to allegations of sex trafficking, drugging, and physical assault. Tonight on Series Source, we're digging into the untold story of Diddy's downfall. Series Source has uncovered evidence of Combs' parties being hotbeds of exploitation, where young women were coerced into performing sex acts for money, often under the guise of modeling or performing. These women, many of whom were barely out of their teens, were subjected to a regimen of drugs and manipulation, leaving them vulnerable to abuse. We've spoken to multiple sources who claim Combs had a team of associates who would scope out potential victims, identifying young women with big aspirations but deep-seated financial struggles. Once they'd identified a target, these associates would offer them a deal that seemed too good to refuse, a chance to perform at one of Combs' parties in exchange for a hefty sum of cash. But what really happens behind the scenes is far more sinister. Sources close to Combs claim he had a network of enforcers who would intimidate and threaten victims into compliance, often using violence to get their way. These women were essentially forced into prostitution, with no choice but to comply or face serious consequences. One woman, Adria English, claims she was recruited by one of these associates under false pretenses. She tells us how she was lured to a party with promises of modeling gigs and big money, only to find herself drugged and coerced into performing sex acts for Combs and his guests. We spoke exclusively to Adria about her harrowing experience, and the evidence suggests that this is just one of many similar cases. But what's even more shocking is how widespread these allegations are. Multiple women have come forward claiming they were victimized by Combs or his associates, with some even alleging that they became addicted to drugs as a result of their experiences. Series Source has obtained internal documents from the Source magazine, which claims it had been aware of the party's exploitative nature for years. But when we spoke to Kim Osario, the former editor, she revealed that the culture of silence and complicity was so pervasive that even those who knew about the abuse were too afraid to speak out. "We heard about it. I think, part of the blame falls on us as a culture," she said. "Part of the blame falls on the media because people want to protect their jobs, right? The implications are clear. A culture that condones exploitation and silence is one that enables abuse." And Series Source has uncovered evidence that this culture extends far beyond Combs' parties, with many women who were victimized by him also claiming they experienced similar treatment from other figures in the music industry. As we examine the allegations against Diddy, it's clear that his reputation as a notorious ladies' man was built on a foundation of exploitation. But tonight, we're shedding light on the truth behind the glamour and holding those who enabled this abuse accountable. The question now is, what happens next? Will Combs face justice for the crimes he allegedly committed? And how can we ensure that this kind of exploitation never happens again in our industry? We'll be following this story closely, bringing you updates as more information becomes available.